So I used to think that YouTubers were absolutely cringe. And this is coming from the guy that I guess is a YouTuber. I'm married to a YouTuber. We've been on YouTube for the past 10 years. So I think I'm allowed to be able to say that I'm cringe. I have like the cringe pass, right? For me to be able to call out some of the things that my wife Hayley and I had to do. Like I was holding the camera all the time. Hayley was talking about sponsors. We were vlogging ourselves doing Vlogmas. If you know, you know. We were talking about things we didn't necessarily want to talk about. We had to wear the same clothes day after day, having to refilm things for sponsors or for brand deals and stressing out over how many views we can get and or do something absolutely absurd to try to just get the most views so you can be a YouTuber. And that's what YouTube used to be like. YouTube in 2013, 14, and 15 was an absolute cringe fest. And in some ways, a couple years ago, it started to almost get worse. But now, in 2025, YouTube is absolutely different. People aren't lying when they say YouTube is almost on easy mode. And I almost called this video that, but I decided not to. And so you might ask yourself, Doug, if you think YouTubers are absolutely cringe, why is it that you're here then? Like, what are you doing back on YouTube? Well, it's because YouTube has gotten to a point to where people want value. People want realistic results. People want reality. They don't want a bunch of gurus or necessarily famous celebrities or anything like that. And some people like that, but not everyone, right? People want authenticity on YouTube. And I thought to myself, well, I'm not an actor. I'm not a creator. I'm not like a absolute YouTuber. If you go back and watch Hayley's old channel, which you probably shouldn't, because there's a lot of videos of me out there being mean and I look mad and like I don't want to be there. And she's like, why do you just look so mad all the time? It's well, because I thought being a YouTuber was cringy. And even though I thought it was cringy, Hayley still stuck with it. And long story short, here we are today running a YouTube-based business, helping people to grow their YouTube channel so they can make money, spend time with their family, and basically live a life of however they want. And so in today's video, I want to talk to you about a couple things. I want to talk to you about how YouTube has changed. If you used to think YouTube was cringe, and if you used to think YouTube was just for people who wanted attention and they wanted to say, hey guys, welcome back to my channel and do all the usual stuff, it's not like that anymore. I mean, some people still do that, but not everybody still does that. Another thing that I want to be able to talk to you about is that YouTube can be monetized in an absolutely different way nowadays. It's no longer just brand deals, sponsorships, and AdSense. There's a lot of ways for normal people, I say normal, like, YouTubers aren't normal. I guess YouTubers kind of aren't normal. There's a lot of ways for normal people to be able to monetize on YouTube. And so I want to talk to you about how YouTube has changed, how you can monetize it, and a little bit about my experience and transition and going from like an absolute YouTube cringe fest hater person to somebody who is going to be going full in on YouTube for the next foreseeable future. So if you're into that, if you want to be able to see how you, a normal person, can take YouTube, leverage it to be able to build a life that you want, then hit subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, and yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. I want to talk to you a little bit about how we got here, specifically me, because I have a feeling that a lot of you guys that are going to be watching this video, hopefully there are going to be some of you watching this video, are thinking the same things that I thought back in the day, right? The same things when Hayley was just starting her YouTube journey. So I was working at an agency. So I, was given the regular plan, the regular talk when you're back in high school and your parents need to talk to you or whatever. They're gonna be like, go to college, go get a good job, like stick to that job for 45 years, move up the corporate ladder, retire, live wherever you want, doing nothing, playing bocce ball or whatever. Bocce ball is kind of fun, but playing bocce ball at like 68 or 70 or whatever. My dad literally actually just retired this year, and I think he's 67 or 68, and he worked for like 40 years or something like that. Like that was the plan that's always given to a vast majority of us, right? Well, that was the plan that I was on. I was on the fast track. All right, I got a marketing job. I swear this is all relevant, I promise. Marketing job, agency. It was almost like Wolf of Wall Street style. We were drinking beer on Fridays, partying with clients, like traveling all over the country. I worked with Home Depot and Toyota. I got to see cars and I got to travel into all these different extravagant places, doing all these crazy things, getting it all paid for by my employer. But what was happening at the same time was I was trading all of my time for money, and I was sitting in traffic in LA and, commuting for 2 hours to go a couple of miles, which was absolutely insane. And anytime, like, it sounded cool on paper, right? It sounded awesome to be able to have this cool job and my parents were proud. But on the inside, like I was working 60 or 70 hours a week. I was working way too much. I was working at night, into the night. I was dreading anytime my phone had a notification. I would be with my family and I'd be with Hayley. So this is like just as we were starting to have kids, I'd be with Hayley and I'd get like an email and be like, oh, I got to stop. I have to go get this thing for my client right now. It was stressful, but it was fun. And so I wasn't really too sure what to make of it. Now, Hayley, on the other hand, was raised in a very like entrepreneurial lifestyle. Her dad was an entrepreneur and worked on a lot of things and was trying to make a lot of moves. And her mom was a full-time nurse. So Hayley was in daycare a lot of the time. She was constantly in daycare and she constantly hated it. And so there came a time when Hayley actually became pregnant. Or I guess she got pregnant. Is that how you would say that? Whatever, like the most politically correct way of saying that is. She got pregnant and basically everything changed. And, she was working her job just out of college and she was like, hey, I don't want to put my kid in daycare and I want to be at home with her or with my child. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a YouTuber and a blogger. And I kind of laughed, right? And I was kind of like, okay, like whatever, like just show me the people who are making money. And of course, it's people in Fiji and they're traveling. And I'm like, whatever, we're not going to do any of this. But I love my wife. I want a mom here at home. I had my mom at home with me when I was a child. So I was like, I want that for our kids. Like, let's do it. I will support the family on my 6-figure income in LA, which was like practically nothing in our apartment. And you can stay at home, try this YouTube thing, and you can raise our kids. That sounded fine and that sounded cool until things got cringe. Then all of a sudden we're doing husband and wife tags. And then all of a sudden, like we're vlogging and it's Vlogmas. And Hayley's like, stand here for this picture, take this video of me, stand here and record me while I talk about my outfit. And it was absolutely cringe and I wanted no part of it. I was like, this is kind of whack. Like I don't really want to do any of this kind of stuff because this is what it means to be an influencer, to be a YouTuber. I don't want to be an influencer. I want to sit at home. I want to play video games. I want to watch anime. I want to drive my car. I was into drifting back then. I want to do all these other things, literally anything else, but record myself or have my wife record me eating a taco. Like that was probably the last thing that I wanted to be able to happen. But something happened. Okay. Hayley is savage and she did not stop posting on her blog and on her YouTube. And eventually, her YouTube channel started taking off. And then we had our firstborn, our first daughter, and her YouTube channel started really taking off. And all of a sudden she was starting to pay some bills. And then after she started paying some bills, then it became like, hey, this is kind of almost a full-time income. And then eventually it became not a full-time income. It was twice what I was making. And I was somehow eventually able to quit my job. And it's not like necessarily I wanted to quit my job. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. It's how I found my sense of purpose. But at the same time, it was too good of an opportunity. Like we could travel, we get paid by like Top Ramen to eat their food and to try things out. I love Top Ramen. Oh, I get to like have a drone. They're going to give us a drone to do things. This is really cool. It was even to a point where like people knew who my wife was. People knew who Hayley was. And my clients would want to work with us because they were like, oh, we'll give you furniture sets. We'll give you shoes. We'll give you clothing because like, oh, we have an in with an influencer. This is before influencer marketing was even really a thing. Like this is the cusp of influencer marketing. There were no influencer marketing agencies back in the day when Hayley really started doing this. She was like the second wave. I would say maybe not the first wave, but like the second wave of OG YouTubers. Long story short, Hayley ends up making so much money that we can go ahead and live the influencer lifestyle. So I promise that all of this story and this ranting is going to make sense. And there's going to be a point to all this. I'm actually going to give you a list of points and a list of reasons why you should be starting a YouTube channel. It's all based off of my experiences as the guy who didn't like YouTube, but now is going to be going full in on YouTube. And so this is kind of a part of those points that are building. So after Hayley went full-time on YouTube and I quit my job and she like quote unquote retired me, which a lot of people want to do. I was kind of lost because I still didn't want to be a YouTuber. I still did not want to be a content creator. And content creator wasn't even really the word back then. It was just influencer, right? I still didn't want to be an influencer. So I needed to find something else that could be mine that I could kind of like dive into as the man and the provider of the house and somebody who I worked so hard and now I threw away like my entire career to be able to do this. I swear I wasn't resentful or anything. And so what we basically did was try to find stuff to make money online with. Like I have all this free time. I can start a new business. What can I do? I stumbled upon Amazon FBA. And Hayley and I were talking about Amazon FBA and we were talking about what is it that we can do, right? Like how can we make this happen? So we ended up buying a course. Hint, hint, that's a little bit of foreshadowing. So we ended up buying a course to learn how to do Amazon FBA. We ended up making these car seat covers. I'll put some pictures on the screen or something like that to show you what they look like. They did really well. We put about 15K into it. We made it way more than that and our money back, which was awesome. It was amazing. But we ended up getting pushed out in pricing from our distributor or from our supplier because they took our patterns, yada, yada. Like, basically we couldn't keep up with the pricing competitiveness and make it profitable. So we ended up closing that business down. But what we learned from that was two things. One, that I don't ever want to do physical products ever again. They suck and I don't really want to do them. But the other thing that we learned is that we bought a course from someone to learn a skill to try to make money or to try to change our life in some way. And so we thought to ourselves, what other things can we do with YouTube? Well, we could potentially teach people how to be YouTubers through a course. So Hayley and I said, well, why don't we take our skills that we have on YouTube and then actually try to sell a product on this that would actually really help people and benefit people and potentially change their lives? And I thought to myself, we could definitely do this because Hayley has a brand that she's built. She ended up building a channel that had over 180,000 subscribers. And then she created a second channel to be able to run this, which is YouTubepreneur, which is the first version of our coaching program. It was just a course back in the day. I was like, but how are we going to do this? Like, how can we actually make this happen? And what we learned through a lot of research, and we actually invested in some courses to be able to learn how this all works. But basically, it kind of changed the trajectory of everything because we learned that there's actually this whole world and this whole ecosystem of people that are paying other people for the skills and information and knowledge that they have that's just kind of like sitting in their brains. Right? It's not like anybody has some kind of crazy certification. It's not like I'm trying to be a brain surgeon or anything like that. It's literally there's this whole sphere. Well, now we know about it now because it's 2025, but people were teaching others basically how to knit or sew or cook or to be able to run or be healthy and, online workouts, and then other things that were kind of insane. It was like how to blog, how to do SEO. Hayley tried to get me to do like a how to do SEO course because that's what I did at my marketing agency. I was an SEO manager. And so we were like, hey, we'll just use the skills we already have. We have YouTube. Like, let's go ahead and teach people how to do this on YouTube. So Hayley started a brand new channel. It only had like 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers that were on it now, and you can go check out her channel now. But with that small channel, we were able to launch a course and make $40,000 in just over a day or so in course sales. And it was absolutely mind-blowing. It changed the game. And it basically taught me that making money with YouTube doesn't have to be brand deals and sponsorships and wearing clothing and doing affiliate links or being very cringy like that and selling in a very cringe way. Making money on YouTube, like YouTube can just be the marketing tool or like the lead generation tool, and you can have a completely separate product that can deliver value to people and you can feel good about it. And that's what YouTubepreneur was. And that's still what YouTubepreneur is. Like that's still what we sell. And I'll put a link down in the description below if you guys want to check it out. But that basically opened my mind to being more of a creator. And so from that launch, we basically learned, hey, this is the true way to be able to monetize on YouTube, is to be able to sell your own product, to be able to build your own brand and not rely on others like brand deals and sponsorships. Because during that time, like one of the big reasons why all of this came about was because all of our money was being made with sponsorships on Hayley's YouTube channel. But then there was like political strife, I guess I should put it to be light. And there was COVID and these things happened and brands and sponsors pulled out and they were like, we're not spending any money. There's all this stuff that's happening. We're afraid to market. We're afraid to be online because of what people are going to say about us. Like we're being selfish or whatever. And people think we're doing something bad. And so all of our brand deals and sponsorships dried up and YouTube stopped doing AdSense. Hayley got comments turned off on her main channel for a long time and it was bad and we weren't making any money. And so that's what pushed us into doing digital products and finding another way to be able to make money with YouTube. And so that was a key point and a key turning point in me going from like YouTubers are cringe to saying, oh, YouTubers can actually provide value and it can provide so much value, it can actually support your family. And so basically here we are today. Again, Hayley and I run our business, YouTubepreneur. We have a course and coaching program that we run. I'll link it down in the description below if you want to be able to check it out. But basically, we've been doing this for the past 4 or 5 years now, full time. This is how we provide for the family. We don't rely 100% on sponsorships or brand deals or being cringe or putting our kids in like precarious situations that are dangerous so we can try to use clickbait and get views or anything like that. We don't have to do that anymore, which is nice. And it's not like we ever did that with our kids. But anyways, we run this like a business now. Okay. And that's what allowed me to make the transition from going from cringe to something I actually want to do is make it a business. But what I want to do is I actually want to summarize the points for you. And I had to write them down to make sure I had them summarized and I don't miss anything. But I want to summarize these points for you to tell you basically why it is that you should be starting a YouTube channel, or why you should at least be like trying to revive that old channel that you had, or start a new one if you're not passionate about it or something else. Basically, it's just my plea to you guys, like, this is the best way to be able to run an online business, to be able to make money online, to provide freedom for you and your family and for your kids, whether it's time freedom or financial freedom or location freedom or whatever it is. And it's kind of like my wake up call to you guys, especially like the dads. I know that this video or this channel isn't just for dads, but we have a lot of clients that are women in our program right now. That just happens to be who Hayley attracts, is a lot of women, Christian values, and you don't have to be a Christian to be in our program or anything like that. But we just attract a lot of the same type of women. A lot of the women that are in there talk about their husbands and how hard they work and how much they sacrifice and the things that they do. And they say, if I could just, work hard to be able to do this and get him on board potentially to do this too. Not all guys have to be YouTubers. Not all guys want to be content creators or run their own business or things like that. A lot of people are successful doing whatever it is that they do, whether they're working in a big company or they're doctors, or even if they're not, if they're just, they work hard, they provide for their family, like they are being successful. But there is also a lot of them that are unhappy and that want change. And this is kind of like my plea to them, like this is your avenue for change. And so let me talk about why. So the first thing is that YouTube isn't just a social platform anymore. Okay, YouTube is not just like TikTok. YouTube is not just where you share and upload like videos of you dancing or going to the zoo, or it's not just you vlogging. Like vlogging was the bane of my existence. Like I hated vlogging, okay, because I had to find things to talk about. Hayley was like, you never talk about anything on the vlogs. It's because I don't have anything I want to say on the vlogs. So I would just like respond to what she was saying, and it sucked. Like I hated vlogging. Unless it would have been like, even if it was something cool, like I love racing, for example, race cars, specifically these things called midgets. Don't come at me on that word. And so I love it. And even though I was doing it and I'm racing, I don't want to vlog myself racing. Like that's how much I hate it. I don't want to vlog. I want to enjoy myself like in the present and in the moment and doing the thing. I don't want to have to stop to record myself eating a taco or getting into the race car. Although it's cool, it makes really cool footage and I could show my friends and stuff. YouTube isn't like that anymore. YouTube is not just a social platform. YouTube is a marketing tool. Okay, that's what you guys need to think this about. YouTube is different than all the other social media platforms because YouTube is actually a search engine. YouTube is ran by Google. Google and YouTube share a very similar search algorithm. People come to YouTube to solve their problems or to get answers or to learn things. And you can present yourself as that problem solver or as that solution, which actually leads me into my second point, which is that a lot of people get concerned about what they're going to post on YouTube. Okay, they get scared about me not fitting into a niche. Well, I'm not a mommy YouTuber. I'm not a cleaning and organization person. I'm not a vlogger. I'm not a fitness person. You don't really necessarily need like to label yourself anything on YouTube and be a YouTuber. What you need is you just need to find a problem, a clear problem that you can solve. So you have to kind of look inwards a little bit and ask yourself like, okay, what kind of skills do I have? What kind of things do I know? How can I help people? And if I can help people in some way, are people searching for that? And if they are, you can use YouTube as a tool to drive leads to your eventual business. So just think about that for a moment. Like Hayley did not pick some kind of like thing she had a degree in to post on YouTube, or she did not pick something that is like to make her a famous influencer or a famous celebrity or something like that. What she did was she basically just talked about her own personal experiences and how she's dealing with them or how she overcame them and how, she wanted to share things because it might potentially help other moms in the future too. That is how she got her start. She didn't label herself necessarily anything, but she was just putting the things out there that she thought would help people. Those are the first two things. Okay, the first thing is that YouTube is a marketing tool. It's not just a social platform anymore. You don't got to dance like a monkey. The second thing is that you need to be able to solve a specific problem. Okay, like if you have a problem that you can solve and you can help people with it, awesome. You have a like direction for your channel. You have a niche. You have a kind of like business offer that you can start building off of. That's awesome. Okay. The third thing that I want you to know is that more than likely, you already are good enough to start posting on YouTube. And I don't mean like with the lights and the cameras and the microphones and the lenses and stuff. Like that stuff comes with time or practice. And a lot of times it's not even necessary. There are people out there going viral with like their phones. All right. There are people out there going viral on Pokemon cameras. I'm just kidding. It's not that bad, but it's pretty bad how some of these people can go viral on like a very pixelated, blurry, hollow room type of video. It's not that what I'm talking about when I say that you're ready for YouTube. What I mean is that a lot of people think like, well, I don't have anything that people would want to watch. I don't have anything that people would want to learn. I don't know what I would want to talk about. And so what they do is instead of coming to YouTube, which is where you create, it's like a creation platform. You have to create something. Instead of doing that, what people do is they go and they try to build like an actual product or business like I did with Amazon FBA. I was like, nobody wants to hear me talk about SEO. Nobody wants to hear about my experiences, but I can go create this product that's completely separate. So I would think to myself, like, I don't have anything that people want to hear me talk about. Nobody wants to hear me talk about SEO. Nobody wants to hear me talk about my experiences doing things, but that's actually completely false. And because what's crazy is that people out there are searching for things that you know. So you don't actually have to go learn anything new like I did, where I went to Amazon FBA and I tried creating an entire new business. I had a new LLC, a DBA, all these other things, seller's permits, and I was trying to like create this business outside of who I am on another platform, on another market, right? But YouTube allows you to let you be the business, the knowledge that you have inside your head. I know, as lame as it is, you can put that meme on the screen, right? You have the knowledge inside your head to be able to run a full-fledged business because you can help someone as long as you're one step ahead of them. So whether that's gardening, we have students that do gardening, we have students that do homeschooling, people talking about like their faith or their religion or being moms. There's so many different topics that people talk about, and they're just speaking from inside of them, and they're just speaking from the heart and the knowledge that they have. You don't have to go create something new. So if you're wondering how you're going to make a business online, you don't actually have to go out there and like force something new. You don't have to be an inventor. You can just be yourself on YouTube. Okay, and the last thing that I want to leave you with when it comes to reasons why you should start YouTube now in 2025 and why I'm starting in 2025, even though I have 4 kids and a 5th one on the way and it's going to be absolutely insane, is because with YouTube, you can monetize in so many different ways nowadays. Most of the time back in the day, YouTube's monetization style was get as many views as you can, which meant like potentially compromising your values or doing really strange things to be able to try to get views. And you don't have to do that anymore. There are so many other ways to be able to monetize a YouTube channel. Now, most people will think like, oh, brand deals, sponsorships, AdSense, affiliate marketing. But now some people are even starting to break into things that I think are a little bit better, which is like ebooks or doing things like memberships. I'm not huge on merch or doing other things like that, but if you guys want a Doug merch shop, hit me up. But the real thing is that you can actually sell. You don't just make content on the knowledge that you have in your head. You can actually sell that knowledge in your head to be able to help people have a specific outcome or to be able to change their lives. And so that is basically through online courses or coaching or mentorships. And so this last point is really, I'm trying to tell you guys that like to make money on YouTube, you don't have to be a YouTuber. You don't have to be a content creator even. Like you can be an actual businessman to be able to make money on YouTube. All you need to be able to make it happen is a system. And so a lot of times that system comes in the form of a digital product and a funnel and, you know, these marketing strategies out of here. And if you guys want to know more about how all that works, I'm not going to go too much into detail on it today. I don't want to like bore you guys with it. But down in the description below, I'll leave a link that talks all about how we do it. My wife, Hayley, even has videos that I'll link somewhere up and around here. I'm not used to pointing on this camera and doing this yet. It'll be here somewhere where she talks about funnels. And I'll link a bunch of other resources for you guys down below where we actually talk about them in our podcasts and how our business works and how everything that we've done can take someone like me who thinks YouTube is cringe to someone who is all in on it. And so I just want to leave you guys with this, okay? If you are sitting there watching this video, somehow you made it to the end and you're thinking to yourself, I could never do this. I am not a creator. I am not a YouTuber. Well, that's totally fine because neither was I. And kind of still neither am I. I still don't consider myself a YouTuber, even though my wife and I have been on YouTube for such a long time. We never just tell people that we're YouTubers. Really, we run a marketing business and we're businessmen and we're entrepreneurs. And that's kind of what we are at the core of what we do. And so I want you guys to understand this. If you're looking to start a business, you can definitely get into the business of YouTube and the business of yourself. So if you guys like this video, if you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate any feedback that you have. Comment something down below. Let me know how it was or what you learned, or if you liked it, or if you didn't like it, don't leave any comments or don't do anything at all. You can just leave the video, but thanks for watching. If you're into this kind of content, be sure to like, subscribe, do the usual stuff, and I will see you in the next one.